poppin', everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy right here, Woodward Sports Network. Oh, see, I like that. When these cats drop that, you know they're locked in. You know they're engaged. Joique Bell came in for 2, as did D-Mac. He is Joique Bell. D-Mac, Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion in the house. The child of Flint, Arturo, in the production booth. Fish is in the bowl as well, and all you guys on our YouTube chat thread, got some thoughts you want to put out there on Twitter. You see the Twitter handles right there on the screen. It's right there under there.
France
if you're watching
and in
on
Quebec,
YouTube.
they call Arturo L'Enfant.
L'Enfant. We'll go with that one. We'll definitely go with that one, though. But happy to have you along for the ride. Big time show lined up for you guys today. And, we're talking football. Obviously, a Jamie Collins situation with the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell had some thoughts on not being aggressive on the 4th down call. We're going to talk hockey as well today. Kris Draper will be joining the show, right?
A lot of cups. That'll be 8 cups on the show.
That'll be 8 cups on the show. Of course, right now.
No Super Bowls.
Of course, right now, Kris Draper, the Red Wings director of amateur scouting. So we'll catch up with him. I have some questions. I already talked to D-Mac about it. I got to know. Filip Zadina's my guy this year. I judge the entire success of the franchise based on what Zadina does. You want me to get high on it? Have Zadina roll out, get 20-plus goals. That's what I'm looking at. But we'll talk about it with Kris Draper.
I'm going to let you guys in a little bit of a pre-show meeting or when these things come up, so we go over a little bit about certain questions. Yes, we think about, what are you going to ask them? And Neal, so excited, goes, I got one question. I hope he's ready for the Zadina. You think you should text him first and tell him I'm going to ask him about Zadina because I'm really high on Zadina. I got the jersey. I want to.
That's all I'm saying.
Listen, the director of amateur scouting, the Grind Line Center, as of Friday, a Michigan treasure being inducted, along with the rest of us Grind Liners. But Kris Draper will be the man to answer these questions. And coming out of training camp, obviously some of the people that we've seen on our chat thread, obviously Tammy's was up at camp, liked what she saw. So we're going to talk hockey a little bit later on, and we're going to have the man himself, Drapes, on. So he can answer your questions. You will. I think you're going to have a good feeling after talking to Kris Draper about Filip Zadina.
Good, because I want the why. I'm not just standing up here for fun, D-Mac.
You gotta know why.
Tammy
right
Chin,
our
resident hockey-nista in our chat thread, she says, hey, it's make or break. Make or break time for Filip. And that's my point on it, too. Steve R. says, Neal, this Oakland-Michigan State basketball game at Little Caesars Arena, is this a game you'll be working? Yes, I work every game. I'm the play-by-play guy. So if you want to listen on the radio or watch the games on TV, that is me. But, Joique, you're in the house here today. I peppered you with the football questions. My son had his first 7th grade football game yesterday.
That was cute. That you're right there. And that's his first game. And so he was able to sit there and get the video. Cool.
I was doing the first down chains. Nobody else would volunteer. They asked for volunteers, and nobody would go volunteer to do the first down chains, man.
That's why you're the golden rule. I mean, that's the real deal right there. Exactly.
And I wanted to be the parent. I wanted to just sit there and take it in and not yell or anything like that. But then there I was working the first down chain. But it was cool to be that close.
Close to the action.
Bingo.
My question, did you almost get run over? Did you have to drop the chain at all?
I didn't have to drop the chain, but there were a couple times that the kids came over. A couple of kids got hurt. There were, it's a real life game, man. Even at that level, Joique, it's a real life game, man. You gotta be up on it. It is, Joique.
Joique, what's the biggest thing?
Football's as real as it gets, man.
Come on,
Joique, what's the biggest thing? Because I tell young kids or whatever, if Neal said
Heads
to me,
up football.
asking this, I said, you know what? Play hard, have fun. Right?
Absolutely.
Play hard. At the end of the day, give it everything you got and, go out there and work hard. Is it the same thing for young football?
Not 7th graders. So when you're younger, about 6, 7, 8. And so this is my method when I'm working with kids. This is always a method to the madness. It's more so come out, kind of learn the fundamentals, 3-point stance, coming off the ball, and just having fun, So it's going to be
learning the plays.
It's not even too much learning plays yet. It's just learning the fundamentals.
Well, concepts, how it works.
Yeah, so it's more so that. But I want you guys to have fun. And the reason I want you guys to have fun, because at my camps, I want you guys to come back the next year. And as you continue to come, as you get older, that's when you start learning more of the concepts, more of the plays, the runs, more of the skills and things of that nature. Because I don't want to make it all work and a little fun. I want us to be able to enjoy it. You like it, and you tell your friends about it, and they come out the following year, and then we build from there. And then about the 7th grade is when you start picking up a little bit more. Because usually what your school district does, you have your varsity team, and then from racket football or little league football to junior high to freshman, JV, they're all running the same offense. So by the time they get to high school, they're already familiar with the offense, and so they'll run plays, and it'll be like second nature to them because they already know it.
But here's the thing too: is that the kids or parents, you have to understand, is that as professional athletes, when we do camps, whether it's our own or whatever, we recognize talent. So when that kid comes back, and we want everybody to enjoy themselves, and not everybody's about being a professional or college, but when we see that talent, it's cool because we will push you, or we will see that, so you come back and we give you a little more. But I remember these kids. Now, I was one of these kids. I went to K&M Hockey School in Guelph, right? From the time I was 7 years old till I went and played junior at 16, right? Every summer. And the motivation would be that my parents would send me for a week, and I would have to work at the air conditioning company, right, to pay for the second week. But I would go back, and then the counselors would remember me. And then the professional guys like a Steve Chason, who I ended up playing with the Red Wings rest of his soul, and different NHL guys, Scott Stevens, to be around these guys. And then next thing you know, you're fighting these guys in the NHL, but they recognize talent, and you get pushed. And I think that there's something to finding a method to the madness, your madness, the proper way. And somebody, like, you're going to get taught the great fundamentals, but if you have potential, and I'm sure you've seen that in your camp, where kids grow or kids come back each year and they say, oh man, you improved, and let's give you this, or let's give you that. Let's see if you can handle this.
Yeah, and it's fun. So I'm gonna agree with both of you guys, because when I have my camp, so you'll have different stations throughout the camp, and then you go around each station after about 5 to 8 minutes in each station, and as you go around, we put them by age groups. So 5 to 7 in this group, 8 to 10 in this group, and so you go to these groups and you see kids kind of small, and so when we're passing the ball, we take a lot off. And then I'll listen to one of the coaches, and they'll whisper to you, no, he got it. You can put something on it for him. He got it. So you have these little 7 to 8 year olds out there, like, catching these hard passes, and they have good hands. So, but which ones you can do it to, which ones you can't do it to as the camp goes on, right? And it's kind of similar to how the recruiting process used to work in high school. You would go to these camps from junior high, like you might go to a U of M football camp or a Michigan State football camp. You'll go every year, and so it gets to a point to where they know you because you've been coming every year. And at these camps, you might have another 50 schools there, small schools, MAC schools, D2 schools, all at these campuses. And they come and they recognize you because you've been coming consistently every year. And so now they get a little interested. What high school do you go to? Oh, what grade are you in? Okay, yeah, and they start researching you and looking at your numbers, and then that's how it used to go. But it's not like that anymore. It's totally changed.
Is there a play, because that reminds me, right? Because goaltenders, right? So when we're young goaltenders, right? So you're not going to rip it on them like an NHL shooter. You're going to use the goalie. But as the younger kids, like you said, they show more talent. So I guess in hockey or whatever, if I go down on any goalie, any age, right, and I go high glove on him and he makes a big glove save no matter what he is, that's the save, right? When you can get that goalie to do that, and that's giving him the confidence. Isn't football, or when you do the camps, is there like the kids tackle you, or is there some where they make a catch, or?
So what we have is, so the first part of the camp is more so the fundamental skills part, and then the second half of the camp is more so one-on-one in something that I call the smokehouse. And so the smokehouse,
I like it.
The smokehouse is so that's at the very, very end. But before we get to that point, we have one-on-one. So we might have one-on-ones with receivers and DBs, and they'll go one-on-one. We'll have the quarterback step in, the receiver will come in. I'll give them a play, and they'll go out there, they'll run one-on-one against the DB, and we'll see who wins. A DB knocks you down, now he has that confidence. The receiver makes a good makes a good route, does a good route, makes a great catch. Now he has that confidence now, and so it goes back and forth, and it's great to see that competitiveness when they're out there, because that's what we want to see. We want to see guys competing, not giving up on the play. They might slip and fall, get up and knock the pass down. So that's what we like to see. You never know what the quarterback is going to do with the ball. It might be a good pass, it might be a little bit behind. You can recover, and so. One thing I teach is I don't care if you fall during the drills at the beginning, get up and finish the drill, because you never know what can happen. And so, but that's kind of how we work on that confidence. And then we go into the smokehouse. It's basically by age group, like 5 to 7, and then every kid that's 5 to 7 will line up on the goal line. They'll run a 40-yard dash. Whoever wins, they go to the winner's circle. And then we do it after every age group, and then at the very end, they all race each other for fun. And so. It's
some of the younger kids ever win?
Huh?
Some of the younger kids beat the older kids?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
You can't teach that speed.
You can't teach speed.
That's one thing you can't. That's one thing you can't teach is speed, and that's why L. Davis will always draft fast guys. He's like, you can't teach that. We can teach them how to play football, but we can't teach them speed.
Right, absolutely. But you're talking about catching passes and stuff like that. Remember, tomorrow we'll be joined by Calvin Johnson. NFL Network putting out a new edition of Football Life featuring Calvin Johnson. He'll be here to discuss that, among other things. So we'll have him tomorrow. But that's around noon, I believe, tomorrow. So make sure that you're locked in for that one. Chris Draper, as we said, coming up in about 20 minutes or so. So we are going to talk some hockey today, and I'm putting him on the spot about Filip Zadina. That's the guy. You guys are saying it. Hey, it's the breakout year, make or break year for him. So we'll check in with Chris Draper and see how things are going, among other things. D-Mac will talk the good old days too for a little bit. You have to, man.
We have to. I mean, big. Obviously, big honor coming up Friday for the grind line. Myself, Chris Draper, Kirk Maltby, Joey Kosher to be inducted as a Michigan treasure. So we'll talk about that. And to me, that's what it means to be part of Detroit. That's what it is. So we'll talk a little bit of past it. We were talking about speed. That's one thing that Chris Draper didn't lack. You didn't have to teach him speed. You had to teach him how to stay on side. That's what you needed to do.
That's what happens
when
you're
fast. But he says he's too fast. He's not pulling the groin for anybody. Get him the puck. That was it.
Well, yeah, man. When you're fast, you have it's hard to stay on
I don't know.
Sometimes. You don't know
tell
about
me
it,
when you're fast,
when
right?
You're fast,
I saw in the football is about Machiavelli sucks to go. Football is about size and speed. In hockey, if you can't skate, it doesn't matter. Ryan's reaction said D-Mac would debate that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He figured
Only
out
guy
a way.
that ran on skates. That's how good. Imagine if I could skate. Please.
Well, hey, while Darren McCarty's not returning to the Detroit Red Wings, Tom Brady is returning to New England for the biggest game of the year, and the stakes have never been higher at MyBookie. Whether you're backing the Bucks or the Pats on Sunday, the game is always more exciting when you've got some money on it at MyBookie. Get in on the action. Take the game to a whole new level at MyBookie. Both teams are sporting top defenses, and nobody knows each other better than Brady and Belichick. Slow and steady will win this race. The smart money is probably laying on the under. Don't wait around. Join MyBookie now and get the biggest games of the season and get in on them right from your phone. Use the promo code Woodward Sports and double your first deposit. Again, that's promo code Woodward Sports to get double your first deposit with MyBookie and start your winning season today. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Got a gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house here today, getting ready to talk some hockey at 11:30 with Chris Draper. But certainly the Lions made some news yesterday, and while the Lions came out last week and said they were looking to trade Jamie Collins, that they had some potential suitors on the line, it turns out they did not. So the Lions cut Jamie Collins yesterday, and that brings the total in dead money this year to right around $55 million between Stafford, Coleman, Trufant, now Jamie Collins. And, Joique, for me, look, that's where this 2023 thing comes into play. Because for the Detroit Lions, there's some dead weight that you have to carry and you have to wear. In order to flush out the organization, these things have to happen. We see it with all the teams in Detroit right now.
You know what? They have to happen. And he came into a circus right now. So Brett Holmes has a lot of rebuilding to do. He has a lot of numbers to play with. He has all of these things he's dealing with trying to build this team back up. And even through all of this, they're still competing with top 10 NFL teams. I mean, they competed with the Packers in the first half, going to halftime winning. They didn't come out the second half and play. They competed with the 49ers. And all these teams that they're competing with are top 10 teams, aside from the Baltimore Ravens, which falls under the top 15 teams. And so even with all of this, they're still figuring it out. So I can only imagine what they would do once they get some more talent on this roster.
And this is where the draft really comes into play, too, because not only do you have the $7 million and change cap hit that Jamie Collins provides you this year, you got to wear $6.3 million on your cap next year. And DMAC, that's the cold, hard reality of the situation. And look, I was a guy, Joique knows, I ask him all the time about the edge and all the space on the edge and Jamie Collins and the linebackers and all that stuff. If you're not happy with an area, DMAC, you have to make a change. And this is some of the burden that you have to bear in that you're going to eat $6.3 million on your cap next year, but that's the price of playing poker.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to say it. 55 and 56.6 million. Like, what's the difference in giving Calvin his 1.6 on the? Anyways, I know that it's probably, but that's when I look at that, it's like dead money. So it's like, and you're not paying him, and I know it's probably got to go bigger than that. But what are they doing? What are the Lions doing, Neal? This will benefit down the road in 2023 when if they're able to draft, if they're able to get to those second contracts. Because what is it realizing right now? It's recognizing that the past regimes put us in this spot. Let's get out from underneath of this. It's going to hurt us a little bit now. But if we can set the culture and, like Joique said, compete with some of these top teams and look for some consistency and sort of be in games, right? This is a blessing in disguise. It is. It really is. As long, right, Neal? As long as you do good with them. Do good with your draft picks. Develop your draft picks. Let's keep seeing things. So far with this regime, this is a lot of times past failures of past regimes. You try to sweep them under the rug. You can't. It's a dumpster fire, so let's do it. It's got to the point. But thank goodness Brad Holmes realizes this, and let's move on it. So,
but why wasn't it working, Joique? Like, what was the problem? And you don't know. You're not in the room. You're not in the film room and all that stuff. So I'm not asking you for the tactically detailed breakdown of what Jamie Collins' struggles were. I mean, just your best guess as to why the struggles this year. Why is there so much space on the edge all the time?
It could be.
I know it's a lot of reasons.
Right, it's a lot of reasons. So if I'm in that meeting room, I'm not even going to say the meeting room with the players. The coaches meet and they watch the film together, and then they go through that film together and they talk about some of the losses or some of the gains they need to make at certain positions, right? And so we're sitting there watching that. I'm looking at the get off of Jamie Collins off the edge, seeing how teams are able to capture the edge. I mean, which they exploited us in Green Bay. They did it again to us against the 49ers, and it just continues to happen. And so at that point, you have to look at the people playing these certain positions. And right now, Collins was that guy, and he wasn't the same guy that he was when he was that one-time Pro Bowler. All right, he's not playing at that level right now. Why is it? Is it his off-season training? Is it his preparation before the game? I doubt that, because you played 9 years in the NFL. Your off-season program is almost you have it almost to a T. And right now, I just think he's losing the step because, Father Time.
North of 31, man.
Yeah, and so once you start to get up in age, you become a dinosaur in this league, what they like to call a fossil. And so to continue to play at a high level past a certain age is rare, but it's been done. We've seen it done before, You see it with Campbell. You see it with, who else? You see it with Frank Gore. You see with these guys where they've been productive even after passing 30. So it doesn't happen too often, but it does happen.
And for me, it's just something that I thought had to be done, right? The deficiencies were staring you in the face. I mean, even somebody look, I always say this, Joique forgot more about football today than I'll know in my life. I mean, just the way that I watch the game, I watch the ball like everybody else does, so I'm not really in tune. I just know when the ball goes into a wide open space where somebody's supposed to be there, I know they're not there. That's what I know.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I mean, no team that's watching film are watching film and say, ooh, we need Jamie Collins on our team right now. Let's trade for him. No one's doing that, all right? Because no one wants to take that big cap hit. And even if they do want him there, he might be a good second string, coming off the bench and just giving them depth. And I think that's where it'll play in his best interest because he won't have that much wear and tear on him per se, right? And so what they're going to do is they're going to wait for the team to release him, and then they're going to go get him for pennies on the dollar.
Absolutely.
They might pay him $1 million to come. But then again, that's why it's better for him, and the team said it's better for him because now he can double dip. And we love when you can double dip. I get paid from here, and I still got to get paid from here. Yeah,
it's not the worst situation
because he's making $9 million this year.
And I want you guys to understand this. It's not going to happen, but understand this. He was on the roster for 3 games, which means if the Lions were to go to playoffs, right? If they were to go to playoffs, even though he hasn't been on the team for the last 14 games, unless they changed it in the CBA, which I don't think they have, but he will get half of whatever the Lions make in the playoffs. Every check. And if the team he goes to next goes to the playoffs, he's getting bonus money from that team in the Lions. All right. So in my rookie year, I played on 4 different teams. I played for the Bills. I played for Philly for 3 games. I played for the Colts for 5 games, and then went back to Philly, and then signed with the Saints going into playoffs. And so I was getting checks from I was getting a check from Philly, I was getting a check from the Colts, and I was getting a check from the Saints, all in week 1 of the playoffs because I had played at least 3 games on each team. Now, if you play 7 games on a team, you get everything they get in the playoffs. Everything. Including if they go to Super Bowl and win that. You get all of that as well. Now, you might not get a Super Bowl ring, but you get that. You get
Super
that
Bowl
purse.
money.
You get that Super Bowl money. And so people don't know that. And the thing is this: you have until the time the playoff starts, until the Super Bowl ends, to claim your money or your SOL, statute of limitations, or your other SOL.
Either way, meaning the same thing.
Meaning the same thing. And so, but people don't know that. And by the time they find out, it's already past the Super Bowl, and now they don't get that money. So you have to claim it before. And these are the loopholes in the system that you don't know about that you have to
I wonder why the NFL's the monolith company because, right?
Because you got to jump through a hoop.
We'll just take that back.
Yeah, you got to jump through a hoop to get. You essentially have to jump through a hoop to get that money.
And it's not even hard. You just write a letter, say, I want to request my money to each team.
Come on, man.
You have to. You have to do it, or you're not going to get it. They're not going to tell you we owe you money. Or you think they're going to tell you that?
I never heard. Look, I've been around sports, worked in sports. I had never heard that before. That you have to physically claim your money.
You have to go claim. You have to go claim it.
And not
That's
everybody.
ridiculous.
And not everybody's doing. Because look, I've said this before. I'm not a detail guy. I'm gonna turn the camera on and let's go, guy.
Yeah.
I don't get caught up in contracts and stuff. I just want to do the job and then, go home. You know what I'm saying?
And then when that's over with, I think. I could be wrong with this one, but I think I'm right. But you even get a player performance check from each team you play with as well. So whatever you did on the field, you get a player performance check for that team as well in the off season, which comes around I believe in March. It comes around in February, March time. They do a player performance check.
Man, Joique.
There you go. Get T with Joique. There we go.
At the end of the day, though, the Lions are making decisions right away, and instead of letting them drag. And this, in past regimes, the Collins issue would have dragged for
Is
weeks.
it ego? Do you think that was ego? Why they just stuck it out? Because we got to get this.
A lot of times it is, and a lot of times but it's also too. And here's to the defense, right? To when they're given a mandate from ownership to win now. Right, then you're hanging on at all costs. You can't turn things over. You got to go down with the ship. This is a different regime that realizes, okay, this ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. We want to go in this different direction. They identified, Neal, I remember first game, outside run, no sideline speed. So if, like you said, Collins has lost a step, time to go, give another kid an opportunity. And what did you say? I always say Monday, Tuesday, there's guys coming in trying out for positions. You might see a new guy on the roster this week.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Sunday game is over. The game is over. They're in the meeting room on Sunday night watching film, or they're watching film the next morning, coming in extra early in the morning. They're talking to the GM, listen, this is what we need. This is what we got to do. Fast forward. All right, these are the guys that's out there. These are the free agents that's out there. Let's bring them in for a workout, reach out to the agents. Boom, they're flying them out that day. Right? They're staying the night, good night's rest. Probably stay over at the Henry, right in Dearborn. And then, you fast forward to the next day, and then guess what? Somebody's getting signed or somebody's going home.
And that's the way it breaks down. And it can run really hot and cold, Joy.
Yeah, it could. Do we have 2 minutes? Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's do it. Have I told you about Northwestern Tech? This started a new career in the industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. To learn more today, go to northwesterntech.edu. Joique Bell, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty. Stay tuned. Big D Energy.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network, live from the MyBookie Studios. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty with you here today. And right now, as promised, we are joined by the Red Wings Director of Amateur Scouting, of course, Kris Draper in the house. He'll be honored by the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame alongside this guy, Darren McCarty, and one other guy, right, D-Mac?
Two more, Kurt Maltby and Joey Kosher, because as Wendell Clark said, right, Drapes, no wonder we were so hard to play against. There were four of them.
Yeah, the only line in professional hockey to have 4 players on it, and all of us we all got on the T-shirt, we all got on the poster, so it was fantastic.
But Kris, obviously the Red Wings wrapping up everything at Traverse City, and your fingerprints are all over this too, being the director of amateur scouting. So give us the rundown, Kris. Certainly these camps now, with where this Red Wing organization is, they hit a little different. I noticed the fan interaction with it. Fans have a lot of questions about it. Give everybody the 30,000-foot view.
Yeah, you know what? Traverse City. It's the way they host it for us, it's incredible. You have, volunteers that actually plan some vacation time to help out, shuttling prospects back and forth. We had the prospect tournament up in Traverse City this year. We had 5 teams, real competitive. Lucas Raymond, first chance for him to be in basically a training camp and a prospect tournaments. Had a real good showing for us. He didn't play the last game. Jonathan Bergman played, same thing, looked real good the first game, and then he got kind of banged up a little bit. Sebastian Kosa was up there. I would say for him, it was probably a lot harder than what he thought. It was, he went in, obviously the expectations were real high for himself, and you learn a lot. You learn a lot about these young prospects in this tournament. We always tell them going in, this is going to be the most competitive tournament that you've played in. Playing against other teams' top prospects. You're also playing against some guys that have played in the American Hockey League, some guys that are 23, 24, and they're even a couple 25-year-olds up there. So physically, a lot of these young prospects are going to be overmatched. But I thought the guys did a real good job. It was great to see Sabrango play. Jared McIsaac had a good start to the tournament. Unfortunately, he had an injury. Joe Valeno, great opportunity for him to go up there and play. Kirill the Thrill, our Russian, he had a real good first game for us, scored a couple nice goals. The excitement was great to see after he scored his first goal, real nice celly. And now, we break up. We come back to Detroit. We come back down to Little Caesars Arena. We have a preseason game tonight. Play again tomorrow. Play on Saturday. Start getting some games and really fine tuning, getting ready for this season opener.
Talking to Kris Draper, Director of Amateur Scouting, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, center of the grind line here. Drapes, going into exhibition season, what is it that maybe fans could look for? Are there certain guys that are going to be in there trying to gain a spot? We go into Chicago tonight, so Pius Suter, who hadn't been offered a contract there could be some revenge. Are there certain different guys that you saw maybe that these fans can look out for, maybe not regular names on the lineup?
Yeah, I would probably say, the excitement level of seeing Moritz Seider. Obviously, he had a tremendous year over in the SHL. His development path has been real good. We drafted him, out of the DEL in Germany. Played in Grand Rapids due to the pandemic last year. Played the full season in the SHL in Sweden, had a great year, and then obviously went into the World Championships for Germany. That's obviously somebody that everyone's going to want to watch. Like you said, you talked about Pius Suter. Mitchell Stevens will be, he could be a real good spark plug on, as a bottom 6 forward. He can really skate. He's been with Tampa over the last couple of years, so he's been around Stanley Cup championship teams. He's played in the playoffs. That's somebody that, a younger player that we're bringing in, and we'll have some obviously expectations. But, you want to see, Lucas Raymond when, what he can do. Over the last couple of years, he's been, a real exciting player to watch. And now he's coming into the best league in the world. And, he's a great kid. He wants it. He wants to be a Red Wing. But, for us, it's we're going to be patient. We're going to watch. We're going to evaluate. And he's going to have a real good opportunity. And, same with Joe Veleno. These young players, they want to come in. They want to make an impression right away. Obviously, they want to be in the National Hockey League. Obviously, they want to be a Detroit Red Wing. But we just have to make sure that when they get that opportunity, that they're here to stay, and we give them every resource that they need to have successful NHL careers. These are the players that we're going to be relying on. But it's just I think for everyone, for us, obviously last year, we did have a lot of injuries. Guys were banged up a little bit. Obviously, Dylan Larkin and Bert were two guys that missed a lot of hockey for us, and getting those guys back is going to be big. But I'd say the excitement level of our goaltending this year with Grice and Nedeljkovic, I think we have a real good combination back there. Bratstrom's had a real good training camp for us, so we're just going to give these young prospects an opportunity, give them an opportunity to play, and we sit back, we watch, and we evaluate over the next couple of weeks.
Kris Draper joining us here in Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. So, Kris, I have to ask you about this because this is my guy, and this is I'm overvaluing this. I understand that. I've talked about it with D-Mac before, but Filip Zadina is the guy really that I'm watching, the number 6 overall pick. He has had some success scoring goals, and look, Kris, let's be honest. For the Red Wings, the goal scoring is something that we're really looking to see improve for this team this year. He has 14 goals in 77 games in the NHL. It's a very, very solid start. Don't get me wrong here, Kris, but is it time now for Filip Zadina to take that jump and to become, into the upper echelon as far as goal scorers for this team and ultimately in the NHL?
Well, it's what we certainly need. As you talked about, Zadina is a guy that, when we did draft him, we the expectations were that he was going to score goals, and it's just a perfect example of how hard this league is. No matter where you've scored goals in any other league around the world at any level, it doesn't matter. It's so hard to be a consistent goal scorer in the National Hockey League. But I think Filip Zadina has that. He has that mindset. Every year he's gotten better. Every year he's gotten stronger. You look at last year, obviously we had Anthony Mantha, so he was on the power play. Filip Zadina will probably get more looks there. And the one thing with Filip is, he wants to score. He has a mindset that he wants to score. And we're certainly going to give him every opportunity to do it. And I think, when you get those opportunities, you have to bury them. You have to bear down. These goalies are so competitive. You watch games every single night. It's so hard, to get shots to the net. Everyone's blocking shots, and so it's a skill to get, not only to score goals, but it's also a skill to get shots on net, and it's something that Zadina has continued to work on, and every year he's gotten better. He's gotten more confident. He has gotten stronger, and he's going to certainly get every opportunity to be that goal scorer that we need. But when you look at our lineup, he's going to certainly be a player that we're going to be relying on to score 5-on-5 and to certainly be able to score goals on the power play as well. So I hope you're right. As an organization, we hope you're right.
Hey, Nails, I got to bring Joique into this conversation because how big, I got to take this to the Lions. So where were you for Sunday's game? And we've watched a lot of games together and stuff like that. And I think it's a blessing in disguise because of it's 3 games into this tenure. If this stuff has happened, we've had different things like crappy stuff like this happen to us. What was your initial reaction? I laughed. I went, like, did you see it happen live or did you see it on a replay?
Well, Mac, believe it or not, I was in the rinks. And
I don't believe it.
My phone absolutely blew up when this happened, of the 66-yarder, not obviously hitting the post, and instead of posting out, and went posting back, and I just couldn't believe it. But you know what, Mac, you're right. I think we went through a lot. When you think about 94, being the top seed and losing to San Jose, the next year going to New Jersey and getting swept in the Stanley Cup Finals, and obviously 96 in Colorado. This was definitely a tough loss, and sometimes those losses really bring a group together, bring a dressing room or locker room together, and they're just going to continue to battle. And you're right, Mac. We've seen, we've gone to a lot of sporting events in this town, and I know you're a huge fan of every single sporting event that the state of Michigan has, and certainly I am as well. And we're cheering for those guys. We've always cheered for Lions, Tigers, Pistons, you name it, to be successful. And we're gonna keep cheering for them. We're gonna keep backing them. It was a tough, obviously a tough and disappointing loss. But sometimes those add character. You get a feel for what your team's all about. You get a feel for what your teammates are all about, and from there, it's stuff to rally around. And I'm hopeful that that's exactly what they're going to do.
Kris Draper here joining us at Big D Energy. First and foremost, I know you're a proud father. You have 2 beautiful daughters, and now you have your son that is now playing for the Red Wings, that you were put in charge of by Steve Yzerman, and said, you know what, I'm going to trust you to make the right decision for what's right for the Red Wings. How humbling was that moment for you? And then also, what attributes did you see in your son that said, you know what, I think you're ready?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Apologize.
No. Joy was asking about drafting, what it was like to be able to draft Keenan, and the fact that drafting your son because of that down the road, that I always say we haven't had a Draper, McCarty, Maltby, or Kosher in the lineup, so this might be the next one. He was wondering what that experience was like drafting your son, because obviously people don't understand. It's not like, we're just going to pick him. It's he earned it.
And then on top of that, because you had people on your back about it, but when you spoke with Steve Yzerman, he put it in your hands and said, listen, I trust you to make the right decision for what's right for the Wings. And so how humbling was that for you?
Obviously, I certainly appreciate that question. You know what? Keenan, he put himself in that situation. The way our draft works and the way our scouting staff is set up, you have area scouts, and we have a couple area scouts that are in Ontario. They watched Keenan play. His 17 year when he was 17 years old, playing at prestigious St. Andrews College just in Aurora. And you know what? He was he put himself in the rankings at NHL Central Scouting. He put himself on our list, and as the draft was going on, we were kind of looking at our draft board of where we wanted to go, and we had the conversations about drafting Keenan. And for me, it was an absolute honor, for not only being, the director of amateur scouting to be able to select Keenan, but obviously a real proud dad to be able to do that and to have the support of our amateur staff. And, the one thing I know, about Keenan is he's going to do everything he can. He's going to max out everything he can to pursue his dream, just like I did, just like Mac did, to play in the NHL. It's all that he's ever wanted to do. He's had a couple great summers training. We always talk about prospects, getting bigger, stronger, and faster, and he's certainly done that. And I'm very happy for him that he got blessed on my wife's side of the family with the height factor. I know Matt had some fun with that. Yeah. He left here. He was 6'2", weighed in at 199 pounds. So he's certainly he's getting big. He's getting strong. He's playing out in the BCHL for the Chilliwack Chiefs. Their season starts actually a week from tonight, and he's really excited about that. I think they have 3 more preseason games before they get going. So, it's and when he's home, he loves it. He wakes up in the morning, whatever time he has to be at the gym. He's down at the rink, enjoys being on the rink, and he's just a player and a prospect that wants to get better. So I've never had to tell him or motivate him to get going. He's self-motivated. He believes in himself. There's obviously a lot of work to be done before this does happen, but he enjoys it. He loves the game. He has a passion for the game, and I think that any athlete in any sport, if you love the game and you have a passion for it, I think you're going to get better and you give yourself a chance. So that's what I'm certainly hopeful for and looking forward to him having a big season.
Wrapping up this conversation here with Kris Draper, the Detroit Red Wings Director of Amateur Scouting. And Kris, I do have to ask you about this before we let you go. This weekend, as we talked about earlier, you'll be honored by the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame as a Michigan treasure along with the rest of the grind line. And Kris, I do have to ask you, because D-Mac and I were talking about this, there was a little bit of controversy. We didn't know if you were going to go in as a pickleball player or as a member of the grind line. I understand you're a legendary pickleball player now, so, will you go back into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame later as a pickleball player? Or, but seriously, what does that honor mean to you to go in with the rest of your teammates and to get that kind of recognition?
Well, I just put myself in a conversation with Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders as a two-sport athlete. Something I'm real proud of. You know what? Obviously when we got the call, I know D-Mac has touched on it going in with Maltz and Joe Kocur. It's a huge honor. For me, unfortunately, I won't be there Friday night. I had a trip planned. I'm going out to beautiful Brandon, Manitoba, and Winnipeg, Manitoba for a scouting trip. Something that unfortunately I have to stick to. But I know the grind line is going to be well represented with Mac, Maltz, and Joey. But for me, it's something that's so proud to be a part of. I honestly believe this is where I grew up. In Detroit, being a part of the Detroit Red Wings, and I know for myself and Mac, Maltz, and Joey, the identity of the grind line is something that means so much to us. When you look back on our careers, when you look back on the Stanley Cups and the opportunities and the roles that we were able to play, we obviously embraced it. We took a lot of pride in what we were able to do. To have the confidence of Scotty Bowman to play in all situations against some of the, basically Hall of Famers and, Sakic, Forsberg, Modano, Nieuwendyk, you name it, all these players that we were able to play against was a huge honor. And just to get recognized in the state of Michigan for what we were able to do. And I said it earlier in the interview, it was just, it really was the love of the game and the passion. All four of us took so much pride, not only in being an NHL hockey player, but more importantly, a Detroit Red Wing. So to be able to get recognized on Friday night is something that's real special. It's, I am disappointed that I'm not going to be able to be there. But like I said, I know the grind line is going to be well represented by by my line mates and, so some of my best friends. And that's something, that's pretty special. We played so much hockey together. We were able to win Stanley Cups, and the four of us are still, great friends and best friends. And anytime we talk or get together, we, we just reminisce and we just realize how fortunate all of us were to be able to do what we did, play the game of hockey, and like I said, more importantly, beat Detroit Red Wings and win Stanley Cups for the Detroit Red Wings. That's something that means so much to all of us.
Well, Kris, we appreciate the time, my friend. Thank you so much. As the season rolls on, we'll reach back out to you. You give me that Zadina update when he gets to 20 goals. We'll have you on, and we can say, hey, Neal, there you go. There's 20 for you.
Thanks for the ratings, bro. As always, you're the best. Safe travels. Hopefully, it's not.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's not snowing in Manitoba yet, is it?
Okay.
Is it snowing in Manitoba yet?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so be careful.
Canada Goose, Mac.
All right. Exactly.
In the Lambeau Field right now. Dress warm.
All right.
All right, Kris, take care, man.
Thanks, Dales. I could not segue that any better than coastportland.com, because I was thinking at part of the grind line, I could have used a machete protecting Draper and Maltby all those years. But if you too would like a machete, or maybe the great lamp turns, lights, whatever else, you can go to coastportland.com, use WSN20 for 20% off, or you can do what some of the great people have done. You go to hashtag HowWeCoast anywhere you Woodward Sports Network, and on Friday, Darren McCarty, yes, we'll give away a $100 gift certificate. Ask around in the chats. They've been getting Petoskey stones. We got headlamps. We got knives, whatever you want. Until then, go to coastportland.com. Check out everything they have. If you can't wait, use WSN20 for 20% off. Until then, hashtag HowWeCoast. Tell them Big D Energy sent you. Joique Bell, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty. Big D! Big D! Woodward Sports Network.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house. Fish is in the bowl. Flint's own child, Arturo, is in the production booth. Also, hope you enjoyed that conversation with Kris Draper, and he kind of reset it. And I do feel better about the situation, D-Mac, because he said, hey, your guy, Filip Zadina, is going to get every opportunity this year. He said, hey, it is hard to score goals, which I understand. There's a reason. It's soccer, hockey. There's a reason the guys that score the goals make all the money.
It's the truth. Wow. Look at you spitting true facts here. Yeah. That's what we do. That's not something we think. That's something
we know.
We know. And it used to be, if you wanted the girls, you get the scars and be the tough guy. That doesn't work anymore. Go for the money, guys, anything like that. But opportunities where it's at. Right, and obviously you brought up a great point about the power play, Anthony Mantha moving on. I think that the health of Jacob Vrana, obviously seeing a specialist for his shoulder, hopefully it's nothing too serious. But you know what, the fact that I believe in this, because I've seen it firsthand, as far as when you have countrymen in your room, whether it's the Swedes, the Russians, the Canadians, the Americans, whatever it is, when you have countrymen there like Vrana, Zadina, that goes a long way. So I expect that what you'll see, Neal, is if you see them in sort of like the Datsuk, Zetterberg, Euro twins getting, you see a lot of them spending time together before practice, after practice, then they'll figure it out. The one thing I love about your guys, Zadina, is every time I look at pictures of practice or video of whatever, he's out there doing extra work, working on that shot, working on, putting the net in different places and doing sniper stuff, right? Sniper stuff is grinder stuff is we use the whole net and just try to hit the net. Sniper stuff's when they pick these and just put corners in like you're shooting at targets, and that's what they do. So opportunity in the NHL is number one. So with opportunity, now he's got to pull himself through the door.
And you look at it too, like I talked about. 14 goals in 78 games, that's a pretty good pace for your first 78 games of your career. I have to step back because I get caught up, D-Mac, because everyone celebrated the pick that he fell to the Red Wings. I got caught up in it too, and he comes out on draft day and says, I'm going to fill the opponents who passed on me, I'm going to fill their nets with pucks. I was here for, I love that kind of stuff. So, me, I'm an entertainment guy.
And here's the thing now, right? Because you always do you not want your put up or shut up moment? I mean, I got one
We all
Friday.
do.
I got one Friday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of these things. So this is his put up or shut up. Now, if he's put the work in and done the things, if he's got this natural talent that Steve Yzerman thought he had, that he thinks he has, gets in with the team, gets an opportunity. Because that's the thing. Because you want to find out, can he do it or can he not do it, so you can either move on or you have something special.
Speaking of Friday, shameless plug for DMAC's event. And DMAC, if you want, I can play the video right
Play
now.
the video.
Yeah,
Check this out.
All right,
This is
so
cool.
it is going to be on mute because it is copywritten. But here's DMAC happening this Friday with ICW.
ICW No Holds Barred Death Match Circus. So, and people, we'll talk about it. It's the Pit 4 and Brandon Kirks. It's a long story, but, a couple of my DTA, my Justin Kyle, my friends, they need that. Michigan needs a little bit of respect put on their names. So I guess I'll be the first 4-time Stanley Cup to step in the cage, but hey, I'm like
steel cage.
Give me the opportunity.
You put it on for the mitten?
What's that? I'm putting on for the mitten, bro. You know me. Some of us got to do it. Listen, that's what I do. I get my hands dirty.
Where's that going? That's going down in Fenton, right?
That's going down in Fenton. Yes. So, yeah. I
Where
mean,
can they go? Where can they go to get tickets, D-Mac?
I need to get hit hard. I do. I mean, it's just one of those things that guys like myself.
All right, Dennis Rodman.
There it is. No,
I feel the pain.
That's it. You don't understand. So it's one of those. It's about the crazy. Crazy's got to go somewhere. So somebody's got to knock some of the crazy out so I can relax a little bit.
One more hockey question for you, D-Mac, because I couldn't get to it with Chris Draper because we did run out of time. And this is one of my buddies wanted to know: is Lucas Raymond going to make this roster?
He's going to get
right now.
He's going to be yes.
There
yes,
you go.
I believe.
My buddy Dan.
I believe he is. He's going to get all the opportunity, and if he doesn't make it out of the gate for whatever reason, that he will be up here within a month.
Bergeron too?
Don't know about him.
All right.
Don't know about him. I would say that if I was gonna, I would say that I'm looking to Sider, Veleno, Giovanni Smith, and Lucas Raymond. As far as other than the suitors and other than the guys that have come in, but these are the guys like that. And I'm more interested in the Velenos. That's Drapes' guy, right? Because that's your third line centerman, your sort of grind liner. And a guy that can play all different penalty kill, even on the power play. So, I mean, this team is being put together like the general manager into, what Steve Yzerman wants. And I can see how the pieces go together. It's simple. Who is who? Who's the McCartys? Who's the Drapers? Who's the Yzermans? Who's the Fedorovs? When you can put more of these guys together on this team to the past teams, then we're moving somewhere. We're not there yet. You might have 5, 6, 7, but you'll have more. But it's exciting. And the big thing is, right, Sebastian Cossa, right, as big of a goaltender that he is, probably, like Drape said, took him a little bit longer, some of these guys to realize, and maybe Zadina's like that, a little bit longer to figure out the league. Right, Joique, did you, in football, did you figure out, was there a moment where it was like, oh, I got this league, figured it out, or just understood, this game instead of things weren't moving too fast?
Do you get like that? You get it to where, you don't have to think as much and things kind of slow down because you have your pre-read, you watch your film, you understand the game a little bit better. But as far as, grasping the game, I had that. It's the hard part is making sure you're healthy enough to get back on the field. And so once I learned how to take care of my body, what to eat, my post-practice, my pre-practice, my routines I did, during practice, and stand on top of things, massages, and every player is different. And one thing I will always hear when I got into the NFL, the trainers would tell me, the athletic trainers would tell me, no one's going to know your body like you, right? And so as I continue to play, I kind of learned what worked for me. I had some players, they'll get multiple massages a week. I will only get one massage probably once a month because I used to like feeling kind of tense. I didn't want to feel too loose. And so I'll probably get 1 or 2 massages a month max. But I had some players who would get 2 massages a week and 3 to 4 hours massages. I'm like, how can you get a massage for that long. It's no way that I can do that. And they were like, I needed to play well. Like I need that. That's the only way I feel loose enough to be able to go out there and do what I do.
You know what? In the hockey locker room, it's not more or less massages, but trigger point. All the guys are on the table, trigger point. You know what I'm saying? They're loosening up the cartilage, but the trigger points, and that's not fun. But yeah, you just mentioned it. You want to talk about somebody who loves the table? You just got off the.
So you used to do. So the trigger point. Are you talking about the little balls you use to kind of?
No, I'm talking about the masseuse, the massage therapist who just trigger point instead of doing a full massage, but to work the stuff out. We'd have more of a line of 5-6 guys, 10 minutes getting in there working out some of the kinks and stuff like that.
So I'd tell you outside of cupping, where they put the outside of that, the thing that worked for a lot of guys did it, and there's only one guy who could do it that we met in the country. It's called needling, right? So we do the dry needling, but it's also like acupuncture too, where it's both combined in one, but it's different. And so he's hitting the points, but he's using a dry needle. And it's his name is Dr. Ho. He's based out of Houston, but he will fly up to Detroit because Glover Quinn will bring him up. And the technique that they use, his father, I think his grandfather came up with it, and they only passed it down to the first son of his kids. So if you're not the first son, you can't learn it. So he did that for us.
And they limit supply, Joy. Yeah. That's smart business plan.
Right. So they only teach that technique to the first born son of like his brother, his mother, and things like that. And so I was like, that's pretty dope. I mean, that's pretty dope, because you're a commodity now. And so, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it hurts. I'm telling you, he'll hit that dry needle in a certain and make your leg jump. I said, it's in my shoulder. Why is my leg jumping? And so I'm telling you. And so that was pretty interesting to me. And he'll come up probably twice during a year and hit you with it. But yeah, it was guys that sit there and they'll be in pain because he takes that needle and he hits you and the needle is about 2 to 3 inches into your skin. And so I
could deal with it as long as I didn't see it. Like I can deal with that, like shots and blood draw and stuff like that. Like I'm cool with it. I just can't watch. Like just do your thing. Yeah, let me know. Let me know when it's coming. Let me know when it's over.
But the thing is, you can feel the release. Like you have like a knot, like this, say in your calf, and then he'll get in there, and you can feel it.
Just let go.
You can feel the release. And so, yeah.
That's a great technique. Let me give you a good lunch technique. Go to PapaRomano'sPizza.com. Order it up right now. Guys, it's almost noon. You're sitting around the office right now. What am I going to do for lunch? PapaRomano'sPizza.com. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you see it right there. Pepperoni and sausage. Deep dish. You're feeling a salad today. You can do that. The subs. I told you, I was in a Caesar salad mood yesterday. I think today I would roll out pepperoni, sausage, mushroom, and onion. I think that's how I would operate today. I'm feeling that today. And if you're feeling it too, again, lunch for the office, man. Get the wings. Get your office mates some wings and some pizza too. You haven't done it in a long time. Don't be cheap. Go ahead and do it. Go to PapaRomano'sPizza.com. Hook up the squad with lunch today. PapaRomano'sPizza.com.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
All right, let's talk about Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season is officially underway. It's been a long summer. We're ready to get into some fantasy. You can still draft a new fantasy team even though the NFL season's underway. So through a slick mobile app called Underdog Fantasy, you can check out the league, join a draft team in minutes. You can draft one. Boom, just like that. Plus, the folks at Underdog are going to help you get started. Free $10 when you sign up and make your first deposit. All you got to do, deposit $10. You're going to get $10 back. It's just like that. Underdog Fantasy, promo code WSN, and you can check it out and download the app by going to UnderdogFantasy.com.
Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house, rolling towards the second hour of the show. And there was another Lions thing that I did want to get to, and we're going to talk some college football coming up here in the second hour. But the whole Dan Campbell fourth down situation, and look, we talked about the mentality coming down the stretch of that Baltimore game. I was a guy, I'm trying to get a first down. If you told me before that game started, if you get a first down, you'll win the game, I would have signed up for that in a second, and then I would have wanted to go get that first down and go win the game. The Lions went a different direction with it, with the running plays. Now, I know they said all the right things, and I know that I don't want to say that they were conservative or anything like that, but Dan Campbell did talk about that. This week he addressed the media and talked about the nature of the fourth down calls.
No, yeah, I think I've said this before. I feel like you have to take each game as it comes, and I loved where our defense was at. I loved the way they were playing, and I wanted to, I wanted to put it in their hands. I felt like we were gonna shut them down. I wanted to give them. We knew we'd get the field goal. I wanted to drain their timeouts and make him beat us with his arm, And look, he did that. The odds say he doesn't, and we didn't make the play. They did. Kudos to him, and and they made the kick. But no, I don't second guess it.
And that was Dan Campbell earlier this week. So I mean, Joique. Again, to me, it's a mentality thing. And I understand where he's coming from, but we've had this conversation in the past. When is the day going to come, Joique, where people realize that the time management of football, and we talked earlier in the week about my experience being around Arena League coaches, the time management in that league was everything. I think we're to the point now where the clock is the king, and you want the football with no time left. That's the way you win football games. Do you ever see a time where the game is going to kind of morph into this, where you're standing there 1st and 10, and a team has 2 timeouts and it's under 2 minutes to go, where if you get that first down, you win the football game by kicking the field goal as time expires? Do you think we're going to get to that or no?
I think they decide for what they do or the type of game plan based on the team they're playing. You're not going to play every team the same way, right? You might attack the same weaknesses, but you're not going to play every team the exact same way. And so in that predicament, like you have the critical thinking part of the game with the time management. All right, you have these conversations during the week when you'll have, say, a similar situation in a practice. All right, if we have 10 seconds left, clock runs down. Okay, offense runs off the field. Field goal team be ready to run on the field, and we got to get the kickoff within say 12 seconds. Get up, get set, get the kickoff. So we have these type of critical thinking plays during the practice. Now I don't know if they ran through this play, but I don't disagree with what he did. Do you want to put the game in the kicker hands that you just brought up?
See, I would say yes, or why is he here?
Why bring him up if you're not going to use him?
Yeah, that's right.
And then second thing is, you're in the NFL. You're going to be put in these situations, and I don't think that kick was too difficult. What made that kick difficult was the pressure,
the stakes, right?
But even when the kicker kicked it, he didn't look like he was under pressure. He kicked it. He didn't even celebrate that much. He said, "Okay, come on, the game is still going on. Let's win the game first." And giving the ball back to them with under a minute left with no timeouts, keep them in bounds. I'll take that.
And I know that, Joique, and I respect that.
And then you get them down to fourth and 19. Fourth and 19, and then they get the first down. That's why. What are we running? What are we doing here?
I know, but my point, Joique, is you see it all the time around the league. You see that. You saw it on the Sunday night game with the Packers and the 49ers. You have to own the clock, I would say now more than you need to own the opponent, because we keep seeing examples of this everywhere. And at some point, a coach has got to stand up and say, you know what, I'm zagging when everybody else is zigging, and if it doesn't work out, you look into that camera and you say, here's what my objective was, here's what we were trying to do, and we didn't get it done.
So
but I'll do it every time.
So my question is, are you upset with what he did? Are you upset with that?
I'm upset about the mentality, I guess is my question. If you want to put everything in a vacuum, I'm not going to sit here and have a meltdown about that. I'm going to have a meltdown about the mentality because I think, and D-Mac, you know this because I'll always go back to you because your teams were as much. I mean, obviously they were generational talents and Hall of Fame talents and everything like that.
I don't want to skip over that like you just didn't just say that.
What?
You don't like the mentality.
I don't like the mentality of if I have 1st and 10 and I get a first down and I win the game, I believe in what.
So
I'm going to put you in the field.
4th and 3, 4th and 3, 4th and 2.
4th and 2, too. Yeah, I mean
4th and 2. You know what?
That's different.
I would say this. I'm not. If it's 4th down and it's 4th and 1, and we get the first down, we win. Depending on where we are on the field, yes, I'm gonna go for it.
I don't care what the coach tells me. Was there mistakes when they're made? Because football and obviously the clock is we see it around the league.
It's happening all the time.
It happens everywhere. So here's the thing: it's like the sort of little thing. So what I want to see or I want to hear, right, from the coach, I don't mind his conviction, whatever he said. The thing is that I have tape. We always like to say things that we don't think, things that we know. We have things that we know that have gone on, and right, if they happen again. What are you going to do? How are you going to adjust to them? That's the biggest thing. We made mistakes, but Scotty Bowman was adamant you don't make the same ones twice. So if we get down to the end of the game, do we do the same thing? I don't mind what Dan Campbell says. It's like, I wanted to do this. I had a game plan. This is my why. It didn't work. So next time it happens, because what bothers me are the things like 4th and 1. When again, last week it happened when they weren't ready to run it. They didn't get it. And now, they got to pass it. They want to go for it. That's great. You got the balls to go for it, but you're not ready either by the clock, by the execution. You're not confident in them. When you're confident with clock management at the end of the game, when you're confident in what you're doing, either going for it, kicking, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. That's what good teams do down to the wire, and that's what I want to see improvement. Hopefully this week we'll be in another situation to win the game where Dan Campbell's got to make that decision. Again, where's my clock? 3 of 34, 4 of 34. Where are we at? So I don't mind him saying that because we're 3 of 34.
And I don't either. Yeah, and I don't either, D-Mac. And Joique, don't get me wrong. Like I'm not saying, oh, Dan Campbell, that was an idiot move or anything like that. No. I see his game plan, and he spelled it out, and I understand that, and I respect that.
If I was in his shoes, I would do the same thing again. I mean, what would you do?
I mean, when I had the ball 1st and 10,
and then you don't get it, and then you don't get it, then what?
Has he been in that position?
They didn't get it anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I look you in the camera and say, I put it on my guys to get 10 yards and 3 downs. I put it on my guys that we were going to get this done, and we were going to go win the foot. If we get that first down, we win the football game. Now, a ton of stuff can happen. The kick can get blocked. The kicker can miss a field goal. The other team can convert a 4th and 19.
But
the other team can make a 66-yard field goal.
But listen to, all right, this is the game plan, right? We're already in field position. We can get a first down. We win the game. Or we can continue to run the ball, waste time on the clock, make them use all of their timeouts, right? Waste that time on the clock, right? Make them waste their timeouts. And now, not only do we have the lead, but now they have no timeouts. So the only
they
thing
set it up properly, and they just didn't execute the 4th and 19. And then like when you look at what had to happen perfectly for Baltimore was to convert on a 4th and 19 and kick a 66-yarder. So let's take that out of it, right? You got 2 long shots, let's say 200-to-1 shots, right? All right, so your game plan, your process wasn't that bad. It was more of an execution because if that's what he said he wanted to do. If you look at it, 2 plays that happen back-to-back, are they going to happen back-to-back? Like, again, hopefully not to us, but if we're in the position. So when you look at it, break it down, it's just lack of execution than it was game plan.
And Chuck in our YouTube thread says this comment, and I want to tie this into the 49ers-Packers game, and I don't know how many of you stayed up to the end to watch that. So if we went for the first down, we'd probably score a touchdown, and a touchdown with time on the clock, with Baltimore probably winning that way. And the 49ers did this too. You are allowed to go down. Teams are doing it all the time now. We're seeing teams do that. You can go down on the ground and give yourself up. And the clock keeps moving, and you still have the football, and you have a first down, and they have no timeouts. Again, going back to the arena football explanation of it. You can do these things.
The clock is still running, but understand, as soon as you give yourself up, that 40 seconds starts.
No, and I get that. But when Baltimore doesn't have any timeouts, and the 49ers had this too, if the tight end goes down at the 1 yard line, the clock keeps rolling, man. And you're because what's the commodity? What commodity do the Packers have? What's the only commodity that the Ravens have in that situation?
Just
time.
Tucker's leg.
Time.
Oh, and time.
Time. I mean, that's it. That's the lifeblood. That's the only oxygen they have in their body as far as that game is concerned.
So that goes on to
time.
Time management.
Time
now,
management.
Are we going to watch more because we saw it last year where the Lions were beneficial against Freeman with Atlanta. Now you saw Juszczyk do it with San Francisco the other day. Is that part of the new strategy?
And that's the thing. Like, we all clamor for this, right? We want a new way of thinking. I want people to go outside the box until you do it. And everyone says, well, what if it doesn't work?
Well,
that's part of going outside the box.
What if it doesn't work? You have to know what you have on your team, on your roster. You guys played a great game just executing the game plan. They did nothing extraordinary except do their job. I'm not about to try to put more on your plate and have you playing outside of your norm. See, that's where you mess up. Know your team, know your players, put them in the best position to win, and that's what they call. He had them in the best position to win.
And hopefully that way we'll get to championship levels. But if you want to get to different levels in center line, they are now open. Yes, starting right now, get 10% off your order just by mentioning Woodward Sports. Whether you're in store or on the app, make sure you mention Woodward Sports, get your 10% off. Everything from T Grizzly Gas to D-Max Max 69, special strains and edibles on sale now. Download the Enjoy Levels app today and start saving. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. We'll be right back.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Doesn't it?
Back at it here, Big D Energy Woodward Sports Network, and certainly we're talking Detroit Lions, and Woodward Sports will be there for the Lions every Sunday this year. Our Lions pregame show will be live at O'Toole's in Royal Oak. But this guy over here, Joique Bell, and me, Neal Ruhl, will be in the house at O'Toole's at Royal Oak. Joique will be breaking it down. Give him one.
I'm coming back in town.
Give him a pull up.
Pull up on me.
Pull up on Joique
Pull
Bell.
up on me.
And myself will be out there on Sunday. It's put on by Woodward Sports, DraftKings, Jose Cuervo, and WRIF. Jade from WRIF will be out there as well. You can win great Woodward Sports prizes and more. Sunday versus the Bears. No one in this town will be breaking it down the way that I will be with this guy, Joique Bell. He'll be giving you all the insight and everything on a game day. So it'll be on and popping, Joique. There's no question.
It is. It will.
I'm looking forward to doing this with you, man. It's going to be a long time. O'Toole's a great spot.
You know, there's nothing going to be better than me sitting back and critiquing both of my former teams.
Absolutely.
Both of my former teams. So,
sitting up there in your tower, right, Joique?
Yeah, just looking down, just critiquing. What are they doing? Oh, that's a good play. He sucks. So I can sit up there and do that now. I can pass judgment now.
Absolutely. When the game is
over.
over.
A whole other seat. No, I'm not going to say anyone sucks. You're in the NFL. You don't suck. You might not be as good as everyone else, but you're in the NFL.
But you're in the NFL. And when the game is over, when the game's over, you can keep it on Woodward Sports as well for the post-game show. That'll be live from downtown Detroit at the Brass Rail. Stick and Anson will be out there. And I can't guarantee that the same things will happen at the end of this Bears game that did in the Ravens game. But either way, Stick and Anson are going to make it. They're going to make it entertaining from the Brass Rail in downtown Detroit. You can come watch the game, join in the after party, a VIP area for Woodward Sports fans. There's pizza and more. The official post game for Detroit football is at the Brass Rail, and that's brought to you by Woodward Sports and Jim Beam. So looking forward to that, chopping it up with Joique, and just getting back at it here. Woodward Sports, Big D Energy here with you. But we were talking about the Detroit Lions. And Don Moore had a comment on our YouTube chat thread and said a lot of teams milk timeouts. And Don, I would say I agree with you. The two that I saw do it were the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers. Sat there and watched it on the TV. I've had enough.
How'd that end up for them?
But that's my point, man. Like, when are we going to realize, when are some coaches going to realize, like, and again, Joique, I'm not doing the, the coaches suck or anything like that. They're NFL coaches. I get that. I respect that. They forgot more about football during my last commercial than I'll ever know. I raise my hands and I say that. But I do know math. And I do know if you don't have timeouts and the other team has a ball and there's inside 2 minutes to go, you're going to win the football game, provided you can execute a field goal.
Pretty good. It's pretty good for a play-by-play guy.
Yeah, but D-Mac, I mean, that's what it is, man. Like this clock management thing, I'm just wondering when this day is going to come
and then,
where it turns.
We can talk about this, but we can also talk about, I don't want to hear used to play well enough and get the score to a point to where the referees they can't decide the end results of the game.
That's true, too.
They always say that, right?
They always say that.
But if we're going to do that, then let's do it, because it should have been a delayed game after that 4th and 19. Was that 4th and 19 play, or right after that play? It should have been a delayed game, but it wasn't called. It wasn't called. And so we could sit back and go back and forth. He made a field goal. He shouldn't have made that call. But no, it was a proper call if the refs do their jobs and call.
And that stuff happens in a vacuum.
But that's simple stuff. That's not even a hard bang-bang play. That's not a bang-bang play. Clock runs out, delay a game, moving back 5 yards, and now that field goal it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. And so I agree with his call. I agree what he did. Squeeze them under the timeouts. Put the game in your defense hands, because they had been playing well the entire game.
Just like the 49ers.
They had played well the entire game.
What do you got, Fish?
So, from my understanding on that delay of game call, it is the back judge who calls it, and the back judge is on the field, right, standing, 20, 30 yards behind the play. Well, if you know anything about football, if you're standing behind a play, you've got people in front of you. So he may not be able to know when the ball is snapped.
It doesn't.
In terms of how quickly the clock from looking up to down.
First of all, the clock is directly in front of you, so it's not like you up here and down here. The clock is straight ahead. You look from here. You look from here. You look here. It's not a big, I got to go from here and I got to go to here. It's not that. And you can see no one's moving on the offensive line. You can see no one's moving in the backfield. It's delay of game. That's period. And so what do you do?
Well, they should have someone up higher, like in a press box or a booth, to call it. They should just say delay of game, and then the ref rings them.
Or here's an idea: have a big horn or a buzzer that goes off at zero.
Goes off at zero.
With a big red light.
That way, as soon as the ref hears the buzzer sign goes off, as soon as he hears it go off, he can keep his eyes on the ball. When he hears it, he can just blow the whistle. That way, he doesn't have to go from here to blow the whistle. He doesn't have to do that. He just looks right at the ball. As soon as he hears it, blows the whistle if the ball is a snap. It's not hard. It's too easy. It makes too much sense. Now, we can argue that, the stadium can get so loud that they won't be able to hear the buzzer. No.
Well, that's why you have a guy up top who tells the ref.
But that's why you have the big red light.
You have a big red light, too.
Give him a little boop right in his ear.
So Joique's just saying,
boop right there. I'd be like, boop.
And then on top of that, and then I think it should be reviewed. I think that should be
definitely should be reviewed.
It should be reviewed. And if it's a delay of game, move him back 5.
Joique's just saying, be like Too Short, blow the whistle.
What's my favorite word?
Why they gotta say it like Short?
What's my favorite word? Can I say? I can't say it here, but can y'all say it in? Actually, we can say that. We can say that on the show. Actually.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is on that. 9 Drink says it's a 10-second runoff, so the game should have been over. Those are facts. And look, I get that.
No. It's not a 10-second runoff when it's a pre-snap, like a pre-play. So if it's a pre-snap penalty, it's not a 10-second runoff. It's only during the play. And the reason I know that, because we're playing the Falcons in London, and we had, I think, like 3 seconds left. We kicked the field goal. We missed it, but they blew the whistle, moved us back 5 yards because it was delay of game, and we were able to re-kick it, right? And you can't even deny that. You can't even decline that penalty. You have to redo the play because it's a pre-snap penalty. And then it's not a 10-second runoff. It's only a 10-second runoff if it's a penalty during the play.
Right. Mr. 715, if Fish does not have a name, image, and likeness license yet, may I send him a contract so he can start doing some T-shirt sales? Well, that Mr. 715, you need to get in contact with Fish's people.
Send it over. I will peruse it as being the head of HR, and we'll see if we can make Fish some. Give him a boop, Fish. Boop. There you go. That's it.
You know what? I can see that now. It's just the fish head, just the circle head, and it just says boop in quotation marks.
I want one. I'll order one.
And Fish, we could put them in, green and white and maize and blue colors, so Michigan fans can buy it. Michigan State fans, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions.
Going back to your chain thing where you had to run the chains yesterday, which is very nice of you. Well, you know why. There's a clear answer why you were the only one who volunteered. You know the answer.
No, why is that?
Champions League. They were too busy enjoying the Champions League.
Too busy watching Champions League. Yeah, that is true. A big win for Liverpool, by the way.
They did win. They had a big win.
They're in the driver's seat right now for their group.
PSG won yesterday.
Porto,
PSG beat Man City. Messi had one.
They beat them down too.
Yeah.
Just wait till they got to play Liverpool, and we'll see who's who.
Ooh.
What do you got, Art?
So they were waiting. They couldn't do it because they were watching Champions League. That's the reason why they couldn't do their job.
Yeah, they were too busy watching the goal show.
They were at the game,
right?
But they were watching Champions League.
Well, everybody has one of these things. You just pull it out and go. My son got a touchdown. Too busy watching this.
How many Champions League fans do you think are out there? I mean, they're all Americans, right? That's it.
No, but I mean they're all over the world. But you gotta imagine there's obviously from what Neal was saying, he's the only guy that had to volunteer. So there obviously must have been people who were busy on their phone.
This is going to make DMAC mad.
There's nothing else on.
If you go by silly things like TV ratings, there's more soccer fans than there are NHL fans.
That's not going to make me mad at all because you're spitting truth.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it. I know that the biggest sport in the world is football / soccer. So more people than you think probably watch.
Yep. Tired for a while, says boo Liverpool up the Toffees. Well, I'm sorry. Detroit Dabber, my parents love Liverpool. I do too, man. That's my side. They're fun to watch. And Joique, I do it from a style thing. It's like my college football stuff. They score a lot. They give up a lot of goals. They can blow any lead. They can come back from any deficit. It's like a spread option college football team for soccer, if that makes any sense. I like the tempo. I like the points, man. College football the same way.
College football. I haven't watched college football since I was in college. So college for me, no, I don't.
Meanwhile, you watch Michigan, you checking out Michigan.
No,
and stuff
I have.
that.
So when I say a fan of the sport, so like I will watch the NFL when I got to the NFL. I would watch the NFL even if I have no affiliation with the team because I love football. When I was in college, I did the same thing. So when I was in college, I would watch college football all the time because I love college football more than I love the NFL, watching NFL. So as I went forward, I grew a love for the NFL once I got here because I realized how much faster it was in college ball. It's weird to me because when I was in college, just the atmosphere of like the Penn State, watching them play, the atmosphere at Michigan, the atmosphere when I would go to MSU game was so electrifying. And then when I got to the NFL, I went to my first NFL game when I was in high school. It wasn't that same type of intensity in those crowds, and so I was more fans of like the crowd and the energy around the stadium more so than probably say college football itself.
But that's what makes college football great in my mind is if you like a certain style of offense, which I do. I like.
So you
I
have
like
favorite teams, or you have favorite players in college?
Well, what I'm finding is it's the coaches, right? Because the coaches move around and they take the systems with them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably about 15 years ago, I was a big Hawaii fan when they had June Jones.
Oh, yeah, when they had that run.
Timmy Chang.
They had a score.
Who doesn't love the over? Who doesn't love the over? No,
is that when they went like undefeated that year?
Well, they went 12-1. Went to the Sugar Bowl.
I remember that.
It was a big time. Timmy Chang set the NCAA record for passing, and they had some big wins, beat Michigan State, all that kind of stuff. What do you got, Fish?
Oh, I was just going to say that, you like high scoring. Some of your games you pick on Fridays aren't necessarily high scoring games. I mean, the San Jose State game was 17-14. The other one, the one last week, was 35-27. That was kind of high scoring. But
so you're
some
trending
of the games
that Neal's late night lock is trending under. Is that what you're trying to tell us, Fish? The stat pack is that late night game is trending under.
Yeah, recently? So maybe you should pick two games. You should pick a Big 12 game because they're always like 85-92, and then you should pick whatever late night game you choose, 10-30-11.
Hold on, Fish. Great idea, but Neal, explain again what you do.
No, yeah, we're gonna get you right on Friday again. I'm coming back. I'm 2-2. I was 2-0 to start. I dropped the last two, but I'm getting us all right this weekend. And I got a late night one. You're going to have to work for it. You know where else you can get right?
I'm going to tell you where you can get right because you don't want to be looking like you ain't getting right. Okay, Lady James.
Good job, Mark.
That was the best segue ever.
Good job, Mark.
Clearly, there's a reason why I do these. Let me tell you. Get to Lady Jane's, unless you want to look like trash like me. That's basically what it is. I'm just going to be real with you. We're talking about Neal Ruhl, Neal Real. Get real and visit Lady Jane's. If you like Sunday football, you can watch the games here. You also can get your hair cut. And get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. I know the owner, too. I know the guy who owns it. He'll probably fire me for doing this read, but it's still wicked awesome.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Down the stretch we come here, Woodward Sports Network, Big D Energy, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty. My name's Neal Ruhl. Happy you are with us. Fish, boop, is in the house as well. Arturo is in the production booth. A lot of love for soccer on the YouTube chat. I didn't know there was this many. The soccer fans, they always lay out, D-Mac. You ever notice that?
Yeah,
they never beat you over the head with it.
Under the radar, but you start bringing it up, and especially at this time of year, whether it's DCFC or English Premier,
they're there, man.
If they're there to watch.
Yep. Jen Reed 77. I'm a huge Liverpool fan. Juice's Ghost says hockey's only played around the 45th parallel. Oh, maybe that does have something to do with it. But yeah, it's we're just talking about stuff right now. But the NFL, the games, and we'll get into more of them as the week rolls on here on Big D Energy. But it's my favorite time of the NFL season right now, because the frauds take center stage, right? And we see this every single year, and there's always teams that are 3-0 at week 3 that have no business being 3-0, but you see them up there at the top of the standings. My favorite, the poster child for this year is the Denver Broncos. They've beaten the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Jets.
The three worst.
And they're sitting there though. But Joique, I do appreciate and I do celebrate the fact that the NFL is a resume league. You are what your record says you are. They played 3 games. They won all 3 games.
Hey, I tell you this all the time.
It's hard to win.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you play. You can't control who you play.
Right.
You can only control how you play. All right. And so they're 3-0. Until somebody beats them, they're undefeated. All right. So I'm not going to knock them. I mean, the teams they play are the bottom 3 teams in the NFL. But hey, if they're proud of that, they're proud of it. But at the end of the day, they can't control who they're playing.
What about that, D-Mac, as a player? And for you guys, I always think that this is around Thanksgiving for the NHL, because there's always 1 or 2 teams that pop off. I remember when the Coyotes were just starting to get good. The first couple times they did it, I was like, oh, that's cute. The Arizona Coyotes, they're up there. That's nice and everything like that. When does that shake out in the hockey season? Like, when do the upstarts start to fall? Is it around Thanksgiving?
About Thanksgiving, and it could creep into. Usually in the NHL, the water settles at Christmas, right? Going into the second half of the year, if you got off to a bad start, whether it's personally or as a team, that's when you know what you're sort of made of. When you have to, look in the mirror that this is, okay, it's going to be tough sledding for the rest of the year, or, oh, we're going to do something. It all depends. Some teams are perennial slower starters, but again, what Joique said, the fact is you play the games that are in front of you. Now, the more impressive resume is what the Raiders have done, because again, they've beaten teams that have won double-digit games in the past, and they're doing something that I think is a little bit different, right? Yeah. Denver, it's still, we're waiting to see. In the NFL, it's probably 6 or 7 games, right? Isn't it usually like week 3, 4, or 5? There's 1 week where you can pick the games pretty well, right? Where everything sort of falls in. Then after that, everything sort of goes to schmozzle. So as
goes to what?
I mean, goes to schmozzle.
Yeah. You think
schmozzle's bad.
Yeah, I think every team they play either were a game away from going to the playoffs or were in the playoffs last year. So these are the teams they're beating. So their record right now is legit. It's legit. Right, and let's see. They beat the Steelers, who they started last year off 11-0. They beat the Ravens as well, and then they beat Miami, who they turned around their franchise last year, and they won high single-digit games. And so I have nothing to say about the Raiders. I mean, they won some close ones. I want to see them play better and play more consistent. Not better. I want them to play more consistent, and see what happens down the road. They had too many close games for me.
And I think a lot of it too, Joique, comes to the fact of when you start to get to the quarter pole of the season, which we are now, and you see teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, who are at 1-2 right now, and they're scuffling a little bit right now, and Mahomes isn't getting the protection that we thought that he was going to get. So when it comes down to them for this week, and you look at what the Kansas City Chiefs have to do, they have to go to Philadelphia. It's a road game. It's hard. I think that this week they know you can't go 1-3. You can't go 1-3, certainly if there are a couple of undefeated, if there's an undefeated team in your division. You can't fall too far behind. I think that plays into it too, where the Chiefs know they have to rise up and play a good football game this week, because 1-3 is bad news, Joique.
It is bad, all right? Especially from a team like this. Or the roster they have. They just added in a new addition with Gordon. So let's see what happens there. Let's see if he can help give this offense a spark, because they need it. They really do need it. Going to a season 1-3, and you guys were one of the top 3 teams projected to win the Super Bowl this year. It's not looking too high.
But it doesn't
it's
bother
not looking too
Kansas
high.
City being 1-3, even if they lose. Even 1-4.
Yeah, they're not dead, obviously. But these are the kind of games, though,
But
D-Mac,
there's chinks in the arm.
No, there is. There's no doubt. But these are the kind of games like Indianapolis right now is 0-3, and they're going to Miami.
They need some WAP.
Need some wings and pizza. Absolutely.
But I think like the last I saw that was a
slump buster. That's what they need.
The point spread in that game, I think, was like Miami 1.5, and I know Tua's hurt and stuff like that. But that's just telling you that they know that the Colts know that it's their last stand. Because if you go 0-4, it's a wrap. In the AFC, Joique, you go 0-4, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say it's a wrap.
I'm telling you, if you're the Colts and you're 0-4, it's a wrap.
It's been a wrap for them though, because this is not the same Colts from last year. I remember when we were talking about Tom Brady, and we talked about what team he should go to when he left the Patriots, and one of the teams we were saying like, hey, he maybe should go to the Colts. No, actually, for me it was Washington. I thought he's Washington or Tampa, one of those two teams, but. The Colts are not the same team from last year, and I don't know what the drop-off was from last year to now, to where they're playing at the level they're playing at right now. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I haven't watched a ton of the Colts games. I watched a little bit when they played the Rams, but yeah, I would agree with that. And they've been getting crushed too. I mean, they've been outscored, I think, like 24 points in the 3 games. They've been getting crushed. But the point of it is, like at this point of the season, when you have these 3-0 teams, it's last call time for the Indianapolis Colts. The Chiefs want to stay out of trouble.
A lot of furniture moving.
Yeah, so I mean that's the type of thing. Of course, the other thing you have the Sunday night game as well. Tom Brady will be coming back to New England, squaring off against the Patriots. And I know the media circus is firing up, and Bill Belichick even is feeling it a little bit. He got a little bit of engagement, I guess you would say, with an NBC Sports Boston reporter, Tom E. Curran. Listen to this.
EI today about Tom Brady looking at his options, and he decided Tampa was a better option. Why weren't the Patriots a better option for him when both Robert Kraft and Brady himself said over and over how much they wanted him to finish his career here?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to go back and rehash all that. We've talked about that.
You've never talked about it with us.
The focus is on the game here. And look, I have so much respect and appreciation for Tom and everything he did here and for me and for our team. And, we're just getting ready to compete against Tampa this week, and we're going to keep our focus on that.
But you talk about rehashing dynamics that you've already gone through. You've never done that.
Yeah, we made a statement when Tom left, and that covered it.
You surprised how well he's played? He's thrown 61 touchdown passes in 23 games down there. Won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Tom's a great player. Nothing surprises me that he does.
I want you, Neal, to talk about contention because that's the Tom Curran, that's a Boston beat writer. Like that, there's deeper than that between the relationship between that reporter. But is that not typical Belichick? Like
he stayed the course, didn't he?
Oh, he's so good when he drinks that coffee. It's like I can see his brain just working this MF or this whatever. But talk about that because like there's some contention there with the media sometimes, and especially in New England.
Well, Joique, I mean, you lived this before, and look, that reporter right there, he did his job. He's going in.
He's going in. He did his job.
He sees a crack. He sees a seam in the defense.
He's asking the hard questions. These are the questions that need to be asked. Now, going in the future, will Belichick be willing to do an interview with this guy one-on-one? I doubt it because he's not afraid to ask those hard questions. And people don't like to be asked those hard questions. But what you are taught in kind of in the media prep is that you take every question, you kind of make it your own. You make it your own, and you never say too much, right? And the less you say, the better, right? And he was straight to the point. I addressed this back in the past. I don't want to revisit it. You know,
he's a pro.
We made a statement. We made a statement, and that's what they preach to their players. So if you look at their players over in New England, they're not giving too much during the interview. They're not. It's just, you know, you win, say little. You lose, say less.
But it works both ways, though. Because as an athlete or as the coach or whatever, you know, I speak about this all the time, is that you develop a relationship sort of with the media when they cover you for so long. So you know who's in the way, the different people that you'll tell different things. So in the opposite way as if he's going to interview him again, but like I stonewall people and I talk to everybody, but if somebody used to come up to me and I wouldn't talk because they were there until that person would leave, but that's because of accountability, because I will call you out for what you'll do, and that's all it is, the accountability. So yeah, I like the question, but you were never going to get that answer, so you have to go at Belichick or somebody like that for a sensitive subject, Neal, a different way, right? You can get that answer out of him, but that guy's not doing it that way.
But see, I think he knows he's not going to get that answer. I think he knows that. So at that point, here's the media, and look, I work for teams, right? Mm-hmm. Like I work for teams, so I'm an extension of PR. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And I see people be critical of me or the job I do sometimes. They'll say, well, why didn't you blow them up about that play? Because they signed my check. Like, I'm honest about it.
Yeah,
they signed my check. You know, so do you blow your boss up? Is your boss? Have you agreed with every single decision your boss has ever made? You know, that's what I would go back to.
No, Joique, because we're in a different situation. We're athletes. We're former athletes. We walk. You know what I mean? We walk around with a certain discard. There's a point to be whatever else of an extension. But Neal, you're as an employee, right? Yeah, you don't. But everybody.
But that's your job, though. You're not blowing up, so you're not. And that's one thing I learned.
I know, but here's the thing.
But what I'm saying is, when you're watching the game or you're watching a particular play, you're not blowing up him personally. What you're doing is you're critiquing or you're giving feedback on a particular play. So you can critique and badmouth any bad play you want, as long as you don't take it personal. He is a terrible coach. No, that was a terrible call.
But you're missing the point, because doesn't matter what coach you have to know relationships wise, because who's gonna blow you up? They don't care whether you're calling it the way you see it. You work for there. You're supposed to have their back or ask it in a softer way.
Yeah, like
that's why they're called softballs.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right, but that's still being critical of their play. It's still being critical of a play call, and you can still do it in a nice way, but you're still.
But guys like Belichick will shut you down if they want. If I don't want to talk to you or you whatever, this is a contentious relationship that's been over. So I'm just saying you can't win with Belichick.
No, you can't. But you know who you can win with, Art?
Yes, I do know. You can win with BetQL. That was the softball pitch if I've ever seen one. Thank you, Neal. If you want to get advantage of your sports books, if you're like me and you lose with your parlays every single week and it just gets mentally exhausting and you got to put the trailer up for sale, Stop doing that and check out BetQL. Their best bet computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year, so you're covered. If you're looking for a certain sport, you're looking for a certain team, and what the stats are, BetQL's got you covered, all right? Their platform has all the data and analytics you could ever possibly need. Head over to the App Store, Google Play Store, BetQL, or you could go to try.betql.co/WSN. Use that promo code WSN and get 25% off any of their subscriptions. Don't miss out on your chance to beat the sports books with BetQL.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, and Woodward Sports has you covered for the very best high school football matchups in all of Metro Detroit. This week is about as good as it gets. Brother Rice against Orchard Lake St. Mary's. We'll have it for you on our Woodward Sports Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter feeds at 9 o'clock on Friday. It's personal within the halls of Woodward Sports. Our guy Joey went to Brother Rice. Stick went to St. Mary's. So it's a big-time rivalry game for them. We got to get them in here and see what do they have on the line. You got to have some Jack on that breakfast if you're if you're rivals.
They should do like a Brother Rice limo, something like that.
They absolutely should. It's brought to you by Planet Fitness. I was there this morning, right here, Maple Road in Troy. And the Prep as well, the very best coverage of high school football right here on Woodward Sports Network. But I did want to clean up the, this media discussion that we were talking about. And Joique, see, my point I was making with Tom Curran is what I do, I'm an extension of public relations. What Tom Curran is doing is he sees a gap. As D-Mac said, he knows he's not going to get it out of Bill Belichick. He knows he's not going to get it, but he can get his mileage on it, and he's going in for the mileage.
But he did. What he did is he asked that question. When he says, so speak about when he says, well, Bill, no, you haven't addressed this, or whatever. Like, he got him to go, well, we covered it here. Like, he got further to it. So
right.
Tom Curran's saying, I asked the question, whether it was the hard question or whatever, and then Belichick decided to avoid it. But you can tell the uncomfortableness. Time somebody raises their glass to drink or think or whatever like that. But that's why Belichick's the GOAT, though. I mean, and it's a different conversation because if Tom Curran asked Dan Campbell that question, or if he asked a second or third year coach, right? Everybody is a little bit different. That's one of the things, too, as this regime and Dan Campbell learns how to communicate with the media, but also learns how to coach on the field. It's all everything goes into all of this. So it's interesting that, who do you think this game means more to? Brady or Belichick?
Just knowing the nature of Tom Brady, it means more to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And
so who needs it more?
Bill Belichick needs it badly.
He needs it.
There's no question that
he needs
Belichick.
It. But if it was a clip of when they end up losing to the Rams, you can see a clip of Tom Brady on the sideline, and you can read his lips, and his lips read this. That's what you can read his lips saying.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Well, and I think Bill Belichick was the guy probably most upset about that Rams win because the Bucs are coming in.
Yeah.
The Bucs are coming into town. They got to have it.
They got to have it. And so, who needs it more? I would say the Patriots need it more. But who's going to probably get it?
The thing about it is, too, is the Bucs are a game back of the Rams with the tiebreaker as far as home field goals.
Here's the thing, right? This whole week, every guy in that Bucs locker room knows what this game means to Tom Brady. And everybody will do extra work, whatever like this, to be able to focus in on that. I don't know if New England has the same feeling in their locker room, obviously playing Tom Brady. But the feels, and when you go 53 men feels, like it's a little bit deeper, who knows what's on the board? Right. Who knows what the incentive is for the fellas? Because if it means that much to Tom Brady, That's what I'm waiting to hear.
And you know that locker room, Joique, loves that man because you got Ndamukong Suh taking $3 million to be there. So you know he's bought in. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is.
You know, at this point for him, it's I have the money, I'm paid, I'm well taken care of. I want to win now.
I want to win I want to win. Build my after.
And then I think Tom Brady might be one of the only guys that Ndamukong Suh can look at and say, well, okay, if he's taking a pay cut and he's one of the greatest to ever do it, who am I to say, no, I'm not going to take it? I'll fall
you
in
know
line.
him real well. Is that a conversation Suh would have with himself? You knowing him that well? Is that...
Yeah, I mean, at this point, but that's mostly any veteran that's on the back end of their career. They're not more so concerned about the money. They want to win. Sort
of like the Red Wings in 2002, when they had Hull and Hasek and Robitaille and all these guys.
All those guys. We want to win now. We got the money. We got them. We can retire now. They got enough money to pay a king's ransom. They're fine. So right now, I just want to win. If I have to take a small pay cut, that's fine because I don't have to pay any state taxes. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and speaking of the Bucks, they got a new addition to their defense as well. Richard Sherman announced on his podcast he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And look,
and we saw that he was going down there for a visit yesterday, but we didn't want to, I didn't want to jinx it for him. But yeah, he went there for a visit and ended up signing. What was that, today?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so congrats to him. And another opportunity for him to go out there. And I think he's there with some great people. I mean, I think the Tampa Bay is where you go for your second chance.
Right. And here's the thing I want everybody, for all the NBA haters out there that say, oh, the NBA is just a bunch of super teams and stuff like that, make sure you keep that same energy when the Bucks are on television. And you're saying, oh, it's NFL football, it's great fantasy and betting and all that stuff. Just keep that same energy because it's the same thing, right, Joique? I mean, this is a super team. The Bucks are a super team.
You got a lot of guys on the back end.
It's harder to put a super team together in football than it is. There's 22 starters.
Yeah, I don't say it's a super team. It's a pretty good team. I would still say the only thing I would say that's better on this team than the 14 is just the quarterback switch. So I think our defense is just as elite. Offensively, I think we had just as good of players. So I won't call this team a super team. I will call it a really good team. This is a really good team.
But you got the guys, though, the former Pro Bowlers that are jumping on, the Suhs and the Shermans.
Okay, this is a super team? All right, who they just lose to? Is the Rams a super team?
Right, but, at home, we're going to see, we'll see when the playoffs shake out. We'll see when it's all on the line.
Now it's hard to win a game.
It is.
It's hard to beat Tom Brady, and it's even more difficult to beat Tom Brady twice. The only team I've seen that beat him twice back-to-back is the Saints, and that was on the regular season, and then they lost in the postseason, which is kind of the norm because you can look at your mistakes and say, okay, this is how we played it both times. Let's switch it up this time. Let's see if this can work.
Wouldn't you be watching the Giants Super Bowl victories over New England and just figuring out, I know whatever, but like when has Tom Brady been the most?
Well, he's still a human being that's a quarterback in the NFL. So when you have an elite defensive front like the Giants had, Joique, that was an elite defensive front the Giants had. And it caused him problems. He is human, and he's a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, all of them. What's the one constant? What's the one thing you can do to them? Pressure, man.
Time.
But
time's the key, right? So whether it's on the clock or how much time he's got to make a decision.
I'm going to tell you right now, Patrick Mahomes, under pressure, not under pressure, it's crazy how good of passes he can throw under pressure. Like in the Super Bowl last year with Tampa Bay. He was under pressure the whole game, but somehow he was still throwing catchable balls that he wasn't having any help from the receiver. He didn't have any help. And so, but I think that's the best way to beat the Chiefs. And then the reason they probably know that now is because what they saw in the Super Bowl. This is how you beat this team.
Chuck Brewer says when 2/3 of the starting lineup decides to go to one team in football, then we can have the super team talk. Well, it's the mentality of it all. The guys in the vet, and I don't hate it. Like I'm not mad at them, man. Like that's your right. When you are a free agent, you have the right to sign for whatever terms you want, wherever you want. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think this would be a good addition for them defensively. You have a guy with the the track record like a Richard Sherman, All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, played against some of the top receivers in this league and held his own. And he's been holding his own for quite some time. He's on the tail end now.
Sure.
He doesn't, of course he lost a step, but he makes up for that lost step with his knowledge of the game. And so, smart guy. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. But he'll certainly be an addition to that Tampa Bay defense as they try to be guardians of the end zone.
Speaking of
I'd
guardians,
love to be on that bus in the back with that conversation. You got Antonio Brown, Richard Sherman, Tom Brady.
That'd be a great conversation
Gronk.
to have. Yeah,
Wow.
That's what are we doing right now? Am I talking about Guardian or is D-Mac going off about Brown? And what are we doing? All right, let's talk about Guardian Alarm because they just get it. What?
Go ahead, Art.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyway,
go ahead. Art.
Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology to help you feel safe. It's basically like a 24/7 Joique monitoring system. It's like having like an electronic Joique just watching your home as a convenient feature. Yes, Guardian Alarm, the gorillas of Guardian Alarms. It'll even let you lock and unlock your doors. Plus, you can detect smoke or carbon monoxide, check your home, control the lights, temperatures, all that. Call 800-STAY-OUT today. That's 800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm has been a trusted brand for over 90 years at keeping families safe. Last 10 minutes of the show coming up with Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. My name's Neal Ruhl. He's Joique Bell. He's D-Mac. Darren McCarty, Fish in the Bowl. The child of Flint. The child of the Flint streets, Arturo, is in the production booth as well. 9 drinks on our YouTube chat thread. You think Jamie Collins trying to go to Tampa right now? Well, then it's no longer a super team if he shows up. But hey, maybe he is. A lot of people are saying New England, but we'll see. What else do we have on here? Aaron says the Lions have a super team, but none of them are super. Well, they're working on that, I guess. I guess you could say. But as we said, final segment of the show. There was some news yesterday. Chris Webber getting in the cannabis biz.
$175 million compound.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did see that, actually. So
It's all right. I mean, this guy's got a $200 million one up in Pinconning, but yeah, have you seen that facility up there? So, but here's the whole thing, right? What you love, and we're going to talk to Calvin Johnson tomorrow about his football life and stuff, and we've had him on about his primitive and stuff. It's how would you not, and the CBD, the CBN, all the pain relief, all that education to your endocannabinoid system, and the fact that you have a guy who's putting money back into the city, is from the city, that's a known athlete. I think it's a great thing. It only, you got to understand, in the cannabis business, no matter what it is, you're competing with yourself. So the fact is, I was up there yesterday. Art, do you have my video of talking to the babies? Now listen, I want to show you guys something that Dan Campbell isn't the only one that has black eye, and this is part of the process of doing it. So I was up at the farm yesterday. Hey, Darren McCarty. Yeah. Anyways, if you're wondering what I'm doing, let me step up. We are in the lair of Quintana, and you are here to join me. Look at how many black guys we have? 223 wonderful young black guys. Do not get it mistaken with what our coach of the Lions, Dan Campbell, has in his coffee. These are not the same black guys, even though D-Mac will use this black guy to start the day. I digress. Let's say hello, boys, now ladies. You are black guys. You're here. You're loved. You made it this far. Tomato farm, growing tomatoes and cannabis is the same, but you have this relationship. And I will go in there and talk to the babies all the time, and those babies will be out for Thanksgiving. I'll let you know, this is the black guy. I'm at the farm. I love it. Darren McCarty, Woodward Sports Network, Big D Energy.
I have some questions. For you, D-Mac.
Yep.
So you have, they said 223?
That's just in that
right.
one
So,
little room
just in that one room. Just in that room.
That room of that strain.
Right. So my question is, when you guys do it, because everyone has their own growing method. So when you guys do pound per plant or per light? You guys do per light?
It'll come out. The facility's so big, right? Like where all those plants get transferred in, there'll be 2,000 in each.
Yeah.
There's 6 or 8 of them. So I'd have to ask the guys what they're trying to do, but it's probably per plant that the consistency to what the illumination is to the lights or whatever. But that's why it's all about.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me to like when I go to these different facilities and I do my walkthroughs.
I'll take you through ours, man.
I like to see, like, it's always different methods, like even from like the grow room, the cultivation room where they're growing, to the lab where they're taking different strands and they're making up different strains, how they crystallize the plant. All these different things is like so interesting to me, and to see how so many people do it in different ways.
So the biggest thing for us is everything is fully integrated, right? Which the facility which you saw from the Chris Webber or whatever is fully integrated facility, means everything is done there.
Oh,
I show you that little room at 220, whatever like that. There's probably growing, because that's not even the outdoor, and the hoop houses where the black eye is growing there, where I have 2,000 plants of black eye out there we didn't go to, that are about a week away from being cropped. So it's all the process and understanding the flow of the process. But yeah, and you realize that this is the specific names are to the Y, and then the CBD and where it's grown, and then you could see it. But there's all the process of how you want to get in.
And so people who wants to get into the cannabis industry understand that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get into it. But the best way to kind of make it, and not only for the health benefits to make it profitable for you, is you want to be, like you said, you want to be vertically integrated. I mean, you want to have your own processing, you want to have your own cultivation, you want to have your own retail, which here in Michigan we call it provisioning center, but I think we might be the only state that call it a provisioning center, basically a dispensary. But yeah, you want to be vertically integrated.
D-Mac, talk about the importance too of like I've known you long enough to where like you try your own products, you test your own products, and like
I
the fact
create
that
my own product. I compete with myself and whatever Joique's talking about. What I would say is, what is your interest? Find your lane, because the lane is open for everybody. It's all about education. Now, for me, how selfish I am, you talk provisioning centers, whatever, I'm at 174 to the 217 in the state. Why? So I never have an excuse as an alcoholic insomniac to not get my medicine. I create my flower, everything like that, but that's me. Because this plant and the people in Michigan have allowed me to save my life, and now I just want to be able to share it. So my stuff is best for me. Hopefully it works for other people, but that's where it gets to. Don't tell me what, tell me who. Pincana, Primitive, right? Whatever, Weber, and it's about the process of whatever is coming out of there. So when I give you the Darren McCarty brand, no matter what it is you're looking for, right? CBD, CBN, to the flower, to whatever else, well, you have a starting point. That is, I am the who.
And that's a great discussion that we're having right now. Yeah. And some of the texters are going to go ahead and drive that right into the ground, which is cool. I'll read them. They're pretty funny. So, Mike says, a rule breaker, will C-Web CBD make you feel like you have an extra time out to burn? So we have some of those. There's some of that. D-Mac looks like the Willy Wonka of CBD in that video.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. It's like the chocolate factory. Yeah, exactly. Greatest place on earth. Don't
I want a golden goose now. Man, Veronica was so bitchy, man.
Bitchy.
God. She really bothered me, man.
Hey, Fish, do me a favor. Give me a boop. Boop. Smazzle. There you go.
Gang.
Hey, we'll be on location tomorrow from Hall Financial. Friday on location from Big Boy. Gonna smash a hamburger out there as well. Don't forget Calvin Johnson tomorrow on the show. For Joique Bell, for D-Mac, and everybody here at Woodward Sports. My name is Neal Ruhl. Thanks for watching and listen. Well, see you later.
Deuces.